started here.
How you doing?
To welcome everybody to the town board meeting of September 11th. Could we all rise for the invocation? And Mark Croker is going to give the invocation. And I'd like everybody to remain standing after the invocation for a moment of silence for all the people in the United States that lost their lives during a horrific attack on September 11th, 17 years ago. Martha?
Dear Lord, we come before you tonight thanking you that all things and situations are in your hands. Thank you for those elected to represent us and trusting that they are your will for Princetown. We ask your spirit to be with us and your will be done. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Remain standing for a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sandy, could you please read the roll?
Councilman Cavaldi?
Present.
Councilwoman Schaefer? Here. Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora? Here. Supervisor Esposito?
Present. Also present is our attorney, Gerard Parisi. Okay, privilege of the floor. At every scheduled town board meeting, the public shall have the right to address the town board during the portion of the meeting referred to as privilege of the floor. Members of the public shall restrict their comments to items of town business, although there is no official time constraint. Speakers should be considerate of others so that all interested members of the public have an opportunity to be heard. There shall be one portion of the meeting dedicated to privilege of the floor. Near the beginning of each meeting, all remarks and questions shall be addressed to the board. No person shall enter into discussion with a person having the floor. Council members may address any comments during the portion of the meeting referred to as council members' concerns. Privilege of the floor will open up at 7:10.
It's time now. I'm sorry, I was reading. Is it time now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I just would like to, say a few things, and I got a couple of questions that maybe can be answered down the line. We all recently got our school tax bill. They all went up. And, you know, it takes quite a chunk out. Now imagine a town tax on top of that. Where we're headed, there isn't anybody that wants a town tax, especially you guys, all of us, all the town residents. With this primary election, people need to keep in mind that years and years, 16 years, we had a judge that produced hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue that helped this town function. We haven't had that since Norm Miller became judge. We can't, as town residents, afford to keep him. He's not producing. He has disappointed many and failed us all. And this is where we're headed, whether it be with this town board or a future town board, a couple of years down the road. We're not gonna be able, you guys aren't gonna be able to function. There's no revenue. He sends no reports. I don't see anything in here at all about a comptroller's, you know, what portion goes to the comptroller, or what portion comes to the town for town revenue. There's nothing. What'd he get, 3, 4 people at quarter? This used to be standing room only. We can't afford as a town to continue on the path that we are with someone that is lacking in productivity. This is where we're headed. Regardless of what we all don't want the town tax. At some point, there's not gonna be any other choice. And we can't really afford to keep normal. You know, the revenues are down 65%. That's huge. He's just not producing. The numbers are what they are. Everything is in black and white. He can say whatever he wants. He can flip it inside out, point fingers, blame, whatever he wants to do. He's not producing. He has failed miserably. And as a result, we all as town residents are gonna get the backlash of his lack of productivity, his failure in being able to do his job effectively. We've had, 3 judges in a time frame from the time that Michelle left office until, Norm came in. 3 judges. Now, 3 judges, plus Norm's term, still don't amount to the revenue that Michelle has brought into this town. It's mind-blowing to me. And it's mind-blowing to me that people would want to continue on that path. Another thing I'd like to add is that recently, he stated that he reduced the court costs by 25%. Well, that's not accurate either. The town board had to reduce the cost because of his lack of producing. The court can't even barely function, on its own. So he did not do that. He cannot take credit for that. He doesn't save the town money. He costs the town more money. His security system that he had access to. He was the only one that could view it. It was stored in his office. Okay, he had the access code, nobody else. Huge, huge conflict of interest, huge. But that wasn't for security of this building either. That was for Norm, sole purpose. And I'm sure you all remember, because y'all did it, with that security system, I hate to even call it that because it really wasn't. This town board had to go into random rooms for executive session. Why? Because Norm had the capacity to watch everything that went on here and audio of what went on here. He didn't have to be present, he could watch it on his phone. So people really, really need to think long and hard before they come and vote on primary day and think about the path of where we're headed. We need to get Michelle back in here so we have a judge that can produce. Want to add something, Susan?
No, I just thought privilege of the floor was not supposed to be political. I thought it was supposed to be.
Privilege of the floor is my time to say whatever I so choose. And it's regarding town business. It's not political.
Well,
It's opinion. It's opinion. And it may not be your opinion, but it's mine. And that of many others. And to be honest, I don't really care what you think.
I know.
You're part of that whole realm. Thank you.
Any others? Okay, we'll close the privilege of the floor up at
7:16.
7:16. Okay, highway.
I had a call from a party on Quackenbush Road, and she was asking if we can do anything about getting the speed limit down to 30 miles an hour instead of 40. And I told her to come to the meeting tonight, but I don't think she's here. So, I think we gotta approach the county, right, Lou?
Yes.
It's a county road.
It's
County road. It's a county road.
County road.
That's what I told her. I said I'd bring it up before the board and let them decide on what we want to do, but I can relate to what she's saying, because there's a narrow road and everything else, and 40 miles an hour is pretty fast, you know? So if we could help her in that way, she'd appreciate it probably, you know? And the other call was a county called me and told me that they would like to put a load limit on Parker's Corners Road, coming off of Gifford Church Road. And now that's a county road, but it's in the town of Princetown, so they were inquiring with me to see what I thought about it. And I told them, well, there's already a load limit on Dunsville Road, which crosses it. So you might as well put it on that road. But what's happening is GPS is on the trucks, they're sending them that way to get on Route 20. So I guess they're gonna put a load limit on that, 4-ton load limit, which I'm okay with it, because like I said, they're getting on that road and they got a 4-ton load limit that they're approaching. So that's about it. Everything else in the town seems okay, outside of, we're waiting to get the roads fixed. I talked to Louis yesterday about it, and did you get back to him, Lou?
Yeah, no, he didn't, but he did say that they were gonna get done. He was supposed to get back today, and he didn't call me back yet. I'll give him a call tomorrow.
Lou, what about the price? Now, did they want to raise the price or something?
No.
No? Okay.
No, not on that. It was for the state police building.
Okay, good. And the only other thing which I think I mentioned too was Sam Solomon, when they do shag bark, he wants them to, the buses and people are turning around on the edge of his driveway, which runs into Shag Bark Road, and it's always getting chewed up. He wants them to blacktop it if possible. So, mention it to Empire if you would.
Okay.
That's about it.
Yeah, I called him yesterday, and they were supposed to get back to me today with a date, but they didn't call me back today.
It's
so
getting
I'll
late in
give
the
them a call
season, you know,
tomorrow.
it's getting late in the season.
Yeah, I know, it's getting late in the season to get it done. So,
Okay,
anything else?
no, that's about it.
We ordered the other fence.
Hey, well, the ribbons, what are the ribbons on it? They look nice.
Those-
Sandy, or Jim?
Yeah, those ribbons are for, to support cervical cancer, in women this month those ribbons are all over the community, and we were asked if they could put them up on our fence near the gazebo. And of course, we said yes, and, I know my mother, died of that type of cancer, and that's, a lot of people have lost loved ones in that form of cancer, and that's what that is. A lot of people actually don't know that. Even my own wife didn't know that. We went by and she wasn't aware of it, but we did. It's a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah, it was a couple months
Yeah.
ago, we passed a resolution that she could do it. That was
Yeah.
peppy.
Yeah, and I forgot all about it, to be honest with you, until they popped up on the thing.
Okay. Where's Hannah tonight, Jim?
She's had to go to New York. My son's mother-in-law's flying in from Greece.
Oh,
She had to pick her up with my son.
I thought maybe everybody's sick, you know?
I was supposed to
Flu
go,
going around and everything. I was just curious. Okay.
but that's what that is. And they did a nice job on it.
Yeah,
Anything else, Nick?
no, it's good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
And like I said, we ordered the fence, so it'll be in and we can get going on
okay.
that.
Yeah,
George Mead is not here, our water commissioner. He did give me a report. Gallons pumped, looks like 1,658,000. Gallons per day, 53,487. Permits issued 1, number 317, Johnson Doney, Giffords Church Road. Monies received, $1,000, August 18th was a quiet month. Fortunately, nothing was broke, so we didn't have any repairs to do. normal reporting, upkeep and monitoring, routine phone calls and inquiries from residents. We did ask the state, we refiled for, to get a grant to upgrade the water system. Our engineer redid the grant and put it in. I don't know if we're gonna get it or not. We also asked for a grant from the county or the state. Part of that was supposed to be for the monies to repair the system, upgrade the system. We haven't heard anything on that. We didn't give it a high rating because our system is fairly new. The last time we applied for this grant, I think we asked for what, 600 and some odd thousand, if I'm not
600,
mistaken.
yes. 600.
And we didn't get it, we didn't score high enough. Hopefully, if we can get some help from our assembly and senate, maybe we can get the money this year. Other than that, that's all he had, George Meade, Water Commissioner. Any questions? Okay, code enforcement, he gave me a report here too. He's in there with some people that are getting permits, or getting a permit. Total permits, 4, permits issued, 4, permit fees collected, $717.80, inspections, 7, code zoning inspections, 2, fire inspections, 0, final building inspections, 0, certificate of occupancy compliance, financial report, August, September, $753.04. Check the supervisor, none. Checkbook balance, September 11, 2018, $753.04. Activities and zoning, 2. Working on complaint as needed, working on planning and zoning as needed, working on permit, final inspection as needed. I guess he has filed a complaint with someone up on Willow Run. They've had debris in a lot up there for years, and he has sent a notice that we're not gonna tolerate it anymore, the town's not gonna tolerate it anymore, and he's gonna issue a fine to him if he doesn't clear it up. If I'm not mistaken, he talked with you about it, didn't he, Eric?
Yes,
So. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, thank you, and our,
Another quiet month. I had one call, but it was from somebody over in Petersburg, so, you know, their
Over in
dog.
Petersburg?
Yeah, I get calls every now and then from people around the other towns, but, so I just did a post on our website for him, just to help out. He did find them. He had 2 dogs, went on the loose for about a day or 2. But everything's good. Other than that, no other calls. It's been quiet.
well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions for Ben?
No.
Okay, thank you, Ben.
Hey.
As usual, no report from the court. Assessor, Richard Tolner. Apparently, people didn't realize over here, and there seemed to be a lot of complaints filed with the town, our assessor's office, that their school tax bills have increased up to 74%. Well, this had nothing to do with the town. This has all to do with Shellmont. Is what happened was they apparently, between homestead and non-homestead, they were granting the homesteads, from what I understand, the car exemption, which they shouldn't have been. Well, apparently they caught on to it or something happened, and now they have increased the non-homestead up 74%. This has got nothing to do with the town. This has all got to do with Shellmont High School and non-homestead tax properties. Apparently somebody at Shellmont was telling them to call the assessor. We did not reassess properties. We did not do any of that. We have got nothing to do with the tax bills that are generated by Shellmont High School. And as what I've asked him to do is, he wrote a letter, I'm gonna read it, but he is also doing a postcard mailing, which is probably gonna cost the town approximately $194. There's a firm over on Central Avenue that does this. They're doing the postcard, the mailing, and he already put in for it. He's gonna send out a notice to all the residents in Princetown that we had nothing to do with the increase in the school tax. Like I said, our town clerk and our assessor's office has been fielding numerous calls, am I correct, Sandy? Since the tax bills went out. We have nothing to do with that, I have to stress it again, we have nothing to do with what Shelmont charges the residents of Princetown. We don't have a town tax other than the water district that pays for the water. The residents, we don't have a town tax. The Shelmont schools did this. I don't know why they did it, how it came about, nobody seems to have an answer other than they increased the non-homestead tax rate. And I'll read a letter that he's gonna send out on his postcard to all of the residents in Princetown. School tax bills were recently mailed to Princetown residents. The town offices have fielded many complaints from our residents regarding the Shelmont school non-homestead tax bills. The school district increased the tax rate on homestead parcels 2.8%, which is what they did, which was under the tax cap for the 2018-2019 year. The school district increased the non-homestead tax rate for the town of Princetown by 74%. This was a result of the school board's decision regarding a conflict concerning taxes in other parts of the school district. The Shelmont School District covers 5 municipalities and 3 counties. It appears tax rates jump up and down as a few years ago there was a 15 to 20% decrease. Any questions concerning the tax bill scenario should be addressed to Joseph Lentz, and his phone number is 518-355-9200, extension 4002. Again, this year's 74% tax hike is totally Shelmont School District issue and is not from the Princetown Town Hall offices. I have to stress that again. We have nothing to do with school taxes, and people are calling our assessor, and I guess they're thinking that we have something to do with it. We have nothing to do with school taxes. That's all done by Shelmont High School and their Board of Education that comes up with their tax rates, and the residents of Princetown vote on it, or the Shelmont School Districts vote on it. And apparently it passed, and apparently something else happened where they decided to raise it 74% for non-homestead. And that's quite a bit jump. And I asked the assessor to do this, send this letter out, which is, the cost is minimal. And I'm hoping that the board, I didn't overstep my authority by asking them to do that. It's only $194.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we're doing that. We need to do that. It's important.
Is that okay with everybody?
Even with that, we may have to be redundant in explaining this, because I know that, they've had a tough week here. People calling here thinking that, it was generated from town hall, and it wasn't.
I know, it's terrible that they have to field these questions and try to explain it to everybody, but like I said again, the town has nothing to do with school taxes. We did not reassess properties. So, anybody's homestead parcel, a non-homestead parcel that went up, it's got nothing to do with the town. This was all Shelmont High School.
It sounds, and I don't fully understand it either, I haven't talked to the school district yet, but the way I understand it is, it sounds like the Shelmont had made an error in failing to tax these parcels as non-homestead for many years. So if you had a non-homestead parcel, I guess you probably dodged a bullet for that period of time. I don't know how it got discovered or what happened, but evidently they want to make sure that all non-homestead parcels do not receive the star exemption.
What is non-homestead?
Well, that would be your home where your house is. That part of it gets a star exemption if you qualify. So that's your home and your property around your house, whatever your house sits on. But let's say you own another parcel, and that parcel is separate from your actual residence. That would be a non-homestead parcel.
Separate deed.
Separate deed, and you would not.
I got 3 deeds at my house, and I get it for my house, but I don't get it on the other 2 parcels.
It's just for a house, in other words, then.
Yeah.
Just for a
Residents, it's
Okay.
gotta be a
Whatever property
residence.
your house
Right.
is affiliated with, you know,
Oh, okay.
that's homestead.
Yeah, right.
So like I said, we have nothing to do with this, that's why I wanna stress that. The town has nothing to do with that. We didn't go out and reassess everybody's properties to try to, truthful with you, Shellmont does their own thing. We've got nothing to say about what they do.
It's ridiculous, actually, because, my son's paying like $5,000 on a house for school. You know? How can anybody actually buy a house with that school tax like that, by the time they pay the house and
But you only get charged for one house. Not, if you own 5 houses, you only get charged for one,
is that right?
or to start.
Oh. Oh, I didn't know
Well, you
that.
The
won't get
STAR
credit.
program is where you live. If you own a house next door to your house, you're not gonna get it.
Oh.
You get one.
One exemption, but you have to pay, you obviously pay taxes on every property.
Okay, that's interesting. So if you own 3 houses, you only get charged for one?
No.
The
That's not
parcel
what I'm
is-
saying. That's why I'm trying to, I can see that's what you're thinking, but it's not. No.
The
If-
one you live in. If you're renting them houses out, or whatever you're doing, you get charged for the one that you're living in, you get the STAR exemption.
You're getting an exemption for one. In other words, you get that exemption for one. So if you own 3 houses, and this is one house, you live in it, you get an exemption for that one. These 2 houses, no STAR exemption. So your school taxes, you're gonna pay the full amount on these 2, but you're gonna pay the full amount minus your exemption on this one. That's how it works.
I might add,
Mine was
there's talk of it,
$585.
they're doing away with this STAR exemption in a couple of years too.
That's the rumor that's floating around. I've heard that from more than one source, that they would like to eliminate it completely. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I have heard that from,
Even the veterans thing. They're talking about getting rid of that too.
To get to a star, you have to be a certain age, is that it?
well, there's an enhanced star.
There's an enhanced STAR and a STAR, all depends on your income.
So the enhanced star, you have to qualify that with your income. So if you're under a certain income, you qualify for enhanced star.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's qualified for star, but enhanced star there's requirements involved in that. And you have to substantiate that with your income
Okay,
data.
thank you, very good explanation.
Okay, that's from Richard Toner, and that's gonna go out this week, so hopefully the calls will stop coming in, and people will understand it, or they'll call and ask what it's all about, right, Sandy? Sandy, do you have a report? I hate to ask you for that, but, okay.
The town clerk office took in $576.50 in revenue. $262.50 was for recycling day this year.
Any questions for Sandy?
No.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. And buildings and grounds, there's nothing going on, other than we had some problem with the air conditioning that was repaired. A couple minor things over to the state police barracks. I don't have another estimate on the parking lot that we were planning on repaving. I'm still working on that. The lawn care services, we've cut it now twice since we had the problem with the lawnmower. And I think that it's only gonna be cut one more time, and then I think next year, then we'll get the 3 estimates to do see who we're gonna get to do the mowing and take care of the grounds. The grounds need a lot of work over here, a lot of weeding's gotta be done around the shrubs, mulch has to be put in. It's gone a long time without doing it, probably since we had the wall come in was the last time that we actually did any work around here. We're gonna have to bite the bullet and hire someone to do this next year to get these grounds and the shrubs cut and everything else in place, but we'll talk about that in the budget. Any questions for me?
Just one thing so everybody understands, well, it will cost a little bit more to have to hire somebody to do this as opposed to having our own equipment and have someone do it. We're transferring the risk of equipment ownership, injuries, et cetera, and that, we're transferring that risk off, essentially. So that has a value to the town, because the town no longer carries those risks, and that's worthwhile. It's really, we've talked about it at length, and we feel that it makes sense to do that, to transfer the risk, hire someone outside, let them come in, and then they have to maintain their own equipment. We don't anymore. It's just not anything we can keep doing. And essentially Lou, pretty much does everything with grounds, and he just spread too thin. We just can't do that anymore. We have to lighten the load a little bit.
Okay, any other questions? Thanks, Jim. All right, before we go on to our workshop meetings for the budget, I just want to read a little letter from Carl Barta. After serving as the chairman of the PIAC for the last 12 years, I have decided to resign my position. I plan on spending more time in South Carolina and will not be able to devote the time necessary for the Recycle Day project. The date of my resignation will be September 30th, 2018. I understand that David Eisinger is willing to take on the position as chair, I think my time serving as chair has been most rewarding. I would like to extend my thanks to all town officials and volunteers who have assisted me over the years. I'm in the process of writing up a project guideline to help whoever becomes the chair of the Recycle Day project. Sincerely, Carl Barta. So he did tell me that he was going to be spending most of the winters in South Carolina. He is retired, so.
He's not down there now.
No, he's not. So, David Geisinger is going to, he's asked that he has said that he would like to become the chair. That's going to be up to the town board. His resignation doesn't come until the 30th, so I think probably at the next meeting, if it's okay with everybody, we could probably appoint
Yeah.
David as
He would actually be a good person for that position.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think so too, so
good to know that he has interest in it.
we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting. Okay, workshop meetings for the budget 2019, dates. Like maybe 2 dates. The budget is not going to be much different than it was last year. Apparently, we're not going to get the revenue we thought we were going to get from the casino. But we're in very good shape financially, so whatever the dates are.
We're looking at October, is that what we're looking at?
We're looking in September. We'd like to get working on it.
Okay, well, I could, I have some time in September, but I'm gonna be,
Going in October, I know, so I was thinking maybe later on this month, we could set up a workshop to go over the budget, and then if we need another meeting, there's dates that have to be done. Sandy, do you have the dates when the preliminary, tentative, and,
We usually pass the tentative into the preliminary at the October meeting. The final budget has to be passed by November 20th.
so, what dates is available to anybody for workshop meetings, say, starting at 6 in the evening?
looks like, huh?
Susan, do you have any preference?
No, except no Wednesdays for me,
No
no
Wednesdays.
Wednesday evenings.
Jim, do you have any?
I'm pretty much good at any time in September, it looks like.
Nicole, any days that,
Let me check. I think I'm pretty much good. Yeah, I can do any day.
any day?
Yeah, pretty much.
Doug?
Never know.
Okay, I'm flexible on it too, so, Sandy, what day is, convenient for you?
Well, just next Tuesday is not good for me.
Next Tuesday.
No.
How's next Thursday?
The 20th?
20th, Thursday the 20th? I could do it.
Yeah, I can do
Is that all right with everybody, 6 AM?
PM?
6 p.m.
6, oh, excuse me, 6 PM. 6 PM?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. Next,
Just the one day, is that?
that's that one, and then we'll see what it goes from there. If we have to, do we wanna set another date, tentative date, if we need it? For, Sandy, is good for you?
I don't know past that.
That would have to be in,
October, right?
it would have to be,
I'll be traveling for October, so it'll have to be later in the month for October for me.
what was the dates we have to have the preliminary in?
By November.
Yeah, we usually, no, preliminary we always pass on the October meeting,
Okay.
which is the 11th, I think. No, October 9th would be the next town board meeting.
You're not gonna be here October at all?
I can do it after I can do it from the 17th on.
17th of October?
Yeah, that's Monday the 17th. From there on, I can do it in October. So for 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of October, I can do it.
It's after October 9th, you just said it at the next meeting.
Okay, we can set that one after the next meeting. Okay, so the next Thursday then, at 6 PM.
Should do a resolution.
We need a resolution for
We
this?
also need to call for the public hearing for the budget at the next meeting, so. we'll do it together.
Do we have to have a resolution for this one for,
Yeah, you guys are saying post the numbers for meeting now.
okay,
So we would need a resolution from someone for a town board workshop meeting on the budget to be held September 20th, 2018 at 6 PM, and to direct the town clerk to publish the appropriate and necessary public notice for the meeting.
I'll make that motion that we have our budget meeting on the 20th and that the appropriate notifications be placed regarding that meeting.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Okay, moving right along. Meeting minutes. It is hereby resolved that the meeting minutes of August 14th, 2018, regular town board meeting are approved or as amended. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Or a second?
I'll second
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
it. Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes.
Just to go back, also for the budget, separate resolution for to call for the public hearing at the next meeting.
No, we usually have the public hearing in November. In October, we pass from tentative to preliminary, and then in November meeting, we pass the budget as final.
I've got October, that suggested date for the public hearing here. Don't you
Oh,
normally
I
pass,
looked it up.
don't you normally pass the preliminary right after the public hearing?
No, yeah, we pass the preliminary to the final after the public hearing, yes.
So if you're
In
gonna,
November.
vote on the preliminary October,
No, we pass tentative to preliminary in October
and you wanna have the public hearing after that.
at the November meeting. We have the public hearing at the November meeting and pass it to final at the November meeting.
I'll take your word for it.
I looked, I printed it, I even
Okay.
printed the October minutes from last year to make
Okay.
sure.
All right.
And that we put the November 14th last year was the public hearing.
Okay.
So we don't need a resolution now for the public hearing. Thank you for clarifying that, Judy. General funds claims is hereby resolved that the town board approves claims number 167 through number 185 in the amount of $8,691.55. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
second?
Second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Water funds claim. Is hereby resolved that the town board approves claims number 86 through number 92 in the amount of $2,417.75. Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make
Sandy? There's a second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
it. Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Trust and agency fund claim. It is hereby resolved that the town board approves claim number 2 through 3 in the amount of $6,440.46 for the solar law attorney fee and a daily gazette notice for adoption of the law. This is part of that $10,000 fund that was given to us by the solar company to create the law. We've spent quite a bit of that already. He is planning on coming to the planning board meeting the last Thursday of this month to explain the law to the planning board. As of this date, we have not received any application at all to our building inspector or to the planning board on this solar project that they wanted to have done so rapidly that it had to be done by August. And, here it is, September. Nothing has been presented to the town. So apparently it's not going to be done this year. By the time the planning board receives the application and town or the building inspector gets it and forwards it on to the planning board, doesn't look like it's going to happen yet. So to wait and see what happens. But they were in such a hurry for it, coming to every meeting. Now apparently it's not that important to them right now. We haven't even gotten into a host agreement, so. After the 10,000 is used up, I don't know, I'm gonna have to speak with the attorney about that before he comes. He comes from Buffalo, and we don't have a lot of money left, so. Apparently, that's it.
It's not the town's obligation or responsibility pursuant to the agreements.
So if he charges more than that, it's,
The town is not responsible if he charges more than what is put into the escrow. It's it's the attorney's obligation and the applicants to take care of that amongst themselves.
okay. Well,
Should we make an effort to get a hold of them, or just wait and let them do
it's
their
up to
thing?
them to come to us.
I'd
We
let
gotta
them
force them to come.
Yeah.
It's up to them to come to us. We passed the solar ordinance, the solar law, they haven't done anything. I thought it would have been done that following.
Yeah, they were hot to trot there.
Let them ride.
Yeah.
So apparently it's not gonna be this year, I don't know. As of this date, they haven't talked to the building inspector or the planning board. No applications have been received.
I'll make the motion that we pay the $6,400, with the understanding that they've already that was money that they forwarded to us,
Yes.
so it's not coming out as town funds.
There's also a 200 and something, I think, too, for the Gazette or something.
Yeah, that's all added.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's all in this,
the
in this,
64?
yeah.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes.
Where you gonna have a special meeting?
Okay, let's do it then.
So Sandy, I think you're correct. However, if we don't have the budget hearing at the next meeting, you're gonna have to have a special meeting in between the October and November, because the budget public hearing has to be before November 8th. And the next regular meeting after the October meeting is not until November 13th. So it's up to you if you wanna have 2 meetings in November, or have the public hearing.
Let's do it now.
So, yeah, whatever you guys want.
Let's do it now then. So there's a resolution to hold a public hearing to ratify the budget?
Well, just to have the public hearing for the budget on the date of October 9th. You can wait as far as November 8th, but like I said, you're gonna get stuck with having an extra meeting.
I think in the interest of streamlining our activities, I'll make the motion that we have the public hearing so that we can have it done by October 9th. So that would be, the public hearing would be at our next board meeting.
Correct. So the preliminary budget needs to be filed then before the public hearing on October 9th.
So we might have to have 2 meetings in September.
I think we did before, I think we had a special one after.
Yeah. And that would work for me if we did it, got it done in September. but-
All right, it's fine. We want to have another meeting. in
Why don't we
September.
set it up, I would set up 2 meetings now and get it done, and that way we know we're on schedule, because this is a tight schedule. October 9th, gonna be here before we know it.
Well, what day is good for everybody for a second meeting if it's needed?
If it's needed, it may not even be needed, we might be able to wrap this up in one meeting. I think, let's see, the current one is the 20th, correct?
Yes, Thursday, the 27th.
Following Thursday would be the 27th, would work for me.
That'll probably work for me.
Yeah,
Unless she has a planning board meeting. so-
Wednesday's out, Friday's date night,
I have the 25th, or if one going to October 2nd, which is a Tuesday.
you wanna shoot for the 25th, which is a Tuesday night?
Fine with me.
I could do the 25th.
Can everybody do the 25th, Tuesday night?
Yeah, that's fine.
And we may not need it, bear in mind, we might be able to wrap this up in the one meeting. So,
We need a resolution for a second meeting.
I'll make a resolution that we add the second meeting, September 25th, second budget meeting, if it's required.
And that's gonna be at 6 o'clock, right? The
At
second one too?
6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
For a workshop meeting or for a regular town board?
No,
meeting?
workshop meeting.
For what day?
Budget workshop meeting,
So we're going for the 25th?
yes.
September?
Okay. Is there a motion?
I just made it,
Okay, is
So
there a
that's
second?
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
I'll second it.
Wait, I'm way behind, hold on. Okay, so we're having a budget workshop meeting on Tuesday, September 25th at 6 o'clock PM.
If it's required, and we'll know that the 20th.
Just so we can have the public meeting right before the next time.
Are we,
We're ready to vote on the motion. I think, did somebody second it?
Sandy's done.
Yeah, I second it.
Okay, Vivaldi?
Yes.
Sorry, Councilman Vivaldi. Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes.
No resolution to call for the public hearing on October 9th.
Now we gotta have a resolution for that. Okay, we need a resolution to call for the public hearing on October 9th.
I'll make a resolution that we have a public hearing on October 9th, which is the next town board meeting.
And I'll second it.
Second,
For the 2019 budget.
for the 2019 budget, correct?
Preliminary budget.
Preliminary.
So do you want to do that before the meeting or?
The public hearing?
No, do it at the
We do it.
meeting. Do it during the meeting.
7 PM.
Sandy's writing. Better catch up.
Good.
Was there a motion?
I made the motion, looking for a second.
Sue seconded it.
2 seconds, we're good.
I thought you did, maybe not.
Yes.
Councilman Vivaldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Okay. Council member comments, discussions, concerns? Doug, you have anything?
I'm good.
Nicole?
Nope.
Jim?
No, I'm good today.
Susan? I've got nothing, so, we're gonna have to go into executive session, discuss a litigation matter or tax.
Certiorari's.
Okay, whatever.
I knew I should have done that.
Is there a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, we're going into executive session at 8:56?
No.
7.
7:56, excuse